Hello, all my astrological friends. Welcome back to your weekly astrological forecast. So this one's going from October 21st to the 27th, Monday to Sunday as usual. And we have the sun in Scorpio, well, end of Libra, soon to move into Scorpio. We have the sun squaring Pluto, then moves into Scorpio. And Mars has a sextile coming into Uranus, so that should be really cool. But the moon, as far as the moon goes, is going to go finish out the sign of Gemini, then we'll go into Cancer, and then Leo, and then of course Virgo after that throughout the week. So yeah, let me bring you over my table and we'll go through it one day at a time. Hold on. Okay, so I am going to go over the longer term aspects first, just as a recap. And then I'll narrow the aspects down into the tight orb, and it will become much more simple to look at. But so I wanted to talk about this one right here first. See, Neptune at 27 degrees of Pisces, sextiling Pluto at 29 degrees, at that last intense anaretic degree of Capricorn. This sextile, this is an opportunity. This has to do with an opportunity to connect with your source inside of you, and that is all over in the universe. That's how we're all connected together, like in that source of creator and co-creator energy. And in Pisces, we're talking compassion and seeing the big picture, being much more intuitive and being able to open up to the all and being much more sensitive than ever. And there's that opportunity to do that, and by doing that, then you will come into your own power. Now, it's also an opportunity for people who are being victimized and attaching themselves to a cult leader to see the truth, to see the misuse of power with Pluto and Capricorn at that 29th degree. You know, it's like, won't be long, and we'll be into Pluto's direct. It went direct on the 11th, and it won't be long before, well, it'll be the 19th. It'll be November 19th, so just less than 1 month, and we'll move into Aquarius for 20 years. So, okay, that's, oops, hopefully I didn't move. Oh, there. Okay, we're all right there. I wanted to cover that. I also wanted to cover, because when I bring the settings to the tighter orb, you won't be able to see this other grand cross going on here. And this is really important. I talked about it last week. We will have the exact square from Mars to Eris going on, so that's the most important one, I think, to talk about at the moment, just because Eris is the slowest moving dwarf planet. You know, Pluto's a dwarf planet, Ceres is a dwarf planet, Eris is a dwarf planet. I don't include the asteroids because I learned over the years I just don't believe that they're that important. The same information is already included within the other planets, so, you know, okay. But if you guys love asteroids, use them. That's great. But if I were to include the asteroids in here, these readings would be like 3 hours every week. And you wouldn't get anything new other than what I'm giving you already. But dwarf planets are really important. And Eris is our feminine persona, or not persona, our feminine. She's like holding space. She's like our Joan of Arc holding space for feminine equality. And it takes her 556 to 58 years to get around the zodiac. So she is twice as powerful as Pluto. And then Mars is our kind of like Pluto's little brother, is the way that Stephen Forrest always called it. And I love that when he came up with that. So anyway, Mars in Cancer, Mars always wants something. Okay, it goes after something. It's willing to fight for something. We all have Mars. Mars is connected to our blood, our life force. It's what, part of how we stay grounded on the planet. That, and then, Saturn, our bones, that's pretty much where we all have that magnetic force. in our bodies to stay grounded. And I mean, that's another like total squirrel moment here, but it's like when I hear people say they don't believe in the universe, they don't believe in a higher power, or they don't believe in a lot of things, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I understand coming from some perspective. I mean, to me, the whole thing of getting pregnant and being able to give birth without dying was like a miracle to me. But then later on, when I got older, that was my first like wake up, like, oh, whoa, there's something bigger than me here. And and then later on, the older I got, and the more I started studying, the way the cosmos worked, I started thinking, okay, wait a minute. We're spinning around, we're on Earth. It's spinning around at like, what is it, 600 and some miles an hour going around, okay? Then, not only is Earth in, we're all these planets are orbiting around the sun, but all these planets are going like this, like moving through time and space like this, okay? So when people don't have faith in the powers of the universe or a higher power to protect them, just ask yourself, why don't you fall off the earth? Why are you in this gravitational pull that holds your feet on the ground when you get up to walk away? You're not in a, oh my goodness, we need to send, here's another squirrel moment. We need to send prayers to those astronauts that are still, they're still stuck. Hopefully they'll, maybe Elon Musk could do something good and get them down. Or maybe they're already down and I don't know about it. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. But just, to be without gravity, well, it definitely eats up your bones. You don't have the bone mass, you need that. So that speaks to Saturn, but Mars speaks to our life force and our lifeblood, and the fact that we are grounded on the energy, just by our energy, our bodies are grounded on the planet, has to do with some magnetic force that's in our blood, in our bones. So you can have faith in your body there that way, but that faith also comes from the universe that had a much bigger plan in mind, or call it God, call it the forces of love, call it whatever you want, but there's something there. And to deny that is just not thinking something fully through. That's all. I don't have any judgments around it. I just don't see that the train of thought has been followed through. That's all. But to me, that speaks to Neptune and Pisces, to see that bigger picture. And Mars is moving into an exact trine there. At the same time, there's the square to Eris that is saying, come on, it's time for women, it's time for the feminine to have equal rights on planet Earth. Because I'm sure in the, divine origin, it's already there. Things are just split up into dualistic, egoic fragments on Earth. And, we can blame Saturn for that. We can also bust through those old paradigms too. So Mars in Cancer is helping to do that. Mars is moving the energy forward in a way that's protective to the feminine and to family. Without the feminine, you don't get family, right? Just everybody came out of a woman. I don't care what your orientation is or any, none of that matters. When you just go back to what is it, the chicken or the egg? Well, who laid the egg? Right? I mean, who created the egg? Okay. Most people are probably like, who cares? Anyway, so Mars in this double square that also, brings in Chiron. Well, Chiron in Aries, it's still retrograde, but there's that connection there that brings through the power of the feminine saying, I'm not taking it anymore. Aries is ruled by Mars. Now Mars is in Cancer, which is a feminine sign. And then with this being ruled by Mars over here, it's kind of like Mars square Mars. you know? And so squares bring in the need to make a decision. It's not a confrontation like the opposition, but we also have the opposition to Pluto going on all week too. Okay? So what I'm about to say is doubly reinforced, triply reinforced. And over the next 4 days, 4 times reinforced. And again, we have the 4 corners of the grand square. Okay, so Mars rules what people want. We're talking feminine, we're talking in Cancer, we're talking the feminine, we're talking protection, we're talking emotional security. You don't get emotional security without having physical security. Hence, the connection between this sextile from Mars in Cancer over to Uranus in Taurus. Taurus is about self-preservation and physical security. If you don't have physical security and stability, you cannot grow. And what's in between Taurus and Cancer is Gemini. Gemini will display and please, if you have a lot of planets in Gemini or anything in Gemini, don't take this the wrong way, because I don't mean it the wrong way. But if we've been traumatized, if we've been wounded in our self, in our babyhood, in our toddlerhood, or at any time growing up, within the realm of, like, let's say you can't protect yourself because you're too little or smaller or vulnerable for any reason going on, like a pregnant woman, and you need that security and that stability, otherwise you cannot grow, okay? That's why Taurus has the sextile, Cancer sextiles Taurus. Taurus is first with that need, Aries is like, I'm here. Taurus is the realm of, I have a body, and it's not always comfortable, right? Like as a baby. But a baby doesn't think in those terms. It's just responding to stimuli. So if the safety and the comfort isn't there, the warmth, the safety, the comfort, then it can't open up. The organism can't open up and be more sensitive. It has to wall off and close off. And therefore, the thinking process is in between. We either go into fight, flight, or freeze. And if we do one of those things, we're battling against the trauma and the wounding, but we have to do one of those things because it's all about, back to Aries, survival. Okay? Over here, Chiron, Eris, survival of women. Mars, over here, fighting for the family. And then you can also see the sextile and the trine, which is our aspect of the architect. This is a building aspect. Uranus here, down at the hinge point, and also, one of the 3 transpersonal planets, Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. We could also say Eris is transpersonal too. And there's also the sextile from Neptune to Uranus, Neptune to Pluto that I just spoke of. But this is, this is big right here. This is big in the realm of opportunity. And then, if that's not enough, we get another sextile over to Mars, so it's involving a very personal planet, which will fight. And all of this is the lead up to women and people that love family, people that want children, people that care about other people to have their children or their families, or care about women and their reproductive rights. And this is that movement to protect and to preserve and to be sensitive to be warm and nurturing and caring. So this is very good. All of these aspects are really, really good for the election. And, by the way, this is Thursday the 17th. It's the full moon in Aries. Kamala's Kamala's moon is at 27 degrees of Aries. I think the full moon was coming in at, was it 24 degrees? But and early this morning, I think just about an hour ago, Pacific time. But anyway, also, it's her birthday on the 20th. So don't forget to wish her happy birthday however you can get a message to her. And then also, a high five to her, Major Burns to Fox News' Brett Baer. She handed him his ass with facts and didn't let him get away with the gaslighting. That is Eris in action. Eris in action in favor of people who can't speak up for themselves. She stood up and she spoke for all of us. Well, she sat there in all of her splendor and beauty and just laid out the facts and called him out where he was, showing a piece of a clip of something that was edited out, that left out the important part that Trump said, which, she was exposing Trump as the one who is aligning against his own people. He'll snub him out, basically, is what he was saying, if you want to put it into the most simple terms. The people, it's an enemy within. We have an enemy within. Yeah, it's you, dude. You're the enemy within. So here's this tension field of this grand square. I mean, it's all I do is turn on the news and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's right here. Mars speaking the truth about family. Kamala with her Aries moon channeling Mars to speak up for the family. The full moon coming across all of these planets, coming across Chiron and Eris right here, and then squaring up to Pluto up here, and then Pluto binging over here off of the sun in Libra, while she's in, her sun is at 27 degrees of Libra, and so here she was speaking up, days prior to this, the 21st, this day here, speaking up for women, speaking up for fairness and equality and justice. That's the beauty of a Libra, in the highest sense. Now, Libra is also really, really good with just relating and bringing through some stimulating conversation and connecting, getting over the other side of that bridge or getting to at least to the middle of the bridge. That's Libra. That's why we have Libra. So there we are, Mars square. This is a grand cardinal cross. Cardinal meaning movement-oriented energy, right? In the universe, we have three forces: expansion, contraction, and stasis. Cardinal energy is expansion. It's beginning. It begins things. The cardinal energy begins all the seasons, right? We've got spring here, spring with Aries, summer with Cancer, fall with Libra, Capricorn with winter. And to tie in the tarot with it, Ace of Wands here with spring, Ace of Cups here with summer, Cancer, summer, Ace of Swords here with Libra, fall, and Ace of Pentacles here with Capricorn, winter. It all works. Okay, so this building aspect, this opportunity that's building, because Mars is still 2 degrees away. This is approaching energy. It's two degrees away. Mars is going to be the faster moving planet, or Mars is the faster moving planet. And it's going to make it to 26 degrees pretty soon. We'll see that. And then this will be an exact sextile. So again, the opportunity to move forward with protection, love, warmth, safety, nurturing, psychic processes. If you're clear, then all this connects up to your power, your integrity, and aha moments with Uranus can come through, opening up to your empathic abilities in your body because Uranus is in Taurus. Uranus can help you even get through a shocking experience. You know, I mean, I had someone comment earlier from one of my little daily tarot readings that I do, and the cards were like super amazing, and there was kind of like a little teardrop but a smile emoji, and said her husband of 35 years left her for his old girlfriend. And I immediately got a hit that it just, that's super painful. It's super, super painful. And if she were here and I could be with her, I'd be hugging her, but if she would have it. But I immediately got, oh man, something's better coming in. Something way, way, way better is coming in for her. And here's the aspect that would show something like that. So these transits that are happening, that I'm speaking to, they are in your chart somewhere. You can take these aspects and you can overlay it. You could get your chart out and you could draw in, you could write in all of these aspects as they sit, and we could watch them go around your chart. It's not just something that's just out there happening. It's, we are living within all of this. So I do believe we have a lot of very, very, very powerfully people who are very powerful spirits, soul spirits, who are living on the planet at this time, holding this tension field of this grand cross in their consciousness and in their bodies, and holding the space for justice, fairness, and equality to come through. Now, this sextile here, I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but it's over on November 19th. This one will be gone on November 19th. So this is here just to get us through the election, basically. Mars will move on quickly, and that, this sextile here will be gone. But this is building all week. And remember the rules. Approaching aspects are stronger, are felt more strongly, and then when they're exact, it's like bam. But then the days, months, weeks, or days, weeks, months, whatever, afterwards, then those the separating aspects are weaker. It weakens. It's like the waxing of the full moon or the waning of the full moon, right? And the fever pitch of when it's exactly full. It's just like that with the planets, all the planets, I should say. Or actually the moon's an luminary, just like the sun, so I can't call them planets. But okay, so that pretty much speaks to the Grand Cross. Okay, the two T squares. Okay, Mars at one end, Pluto at the other. Or if we could look at it from any angle, but I like to look at it from first the slowest moving planets. So that would be Eris and Pluto over here, and Eris is retrograde. Pluto's going to be the one, from this angle over here, Pluto's going to be the one to get out of orb with her. She's just going to sit there and go. And she's waiting. She's just like, no, we're not budging from this space. We will be included. We will trust our instincts. We will be daring. We will assert ourselves. We will be independent. And we will no longer abandon ourselves. This is our existence. So she's the ruler over here. She's the ruler of the whole thing, actually. All of it. And then with the square to Mars, Mars will move away and move into Leo. Things will get even... You think things are heating up now? You just wait till Mars gets into Leo. Right now we're figuring out things about what's most important as far as family and but we're also very sensitive, and some people get triggered in that sensitivity, and that's when you just have to protect yourself and not maybe turn the news off. Maybe don't listen to me because I'm, not just, I'm talking trash, basically. Well, I'm not talking trash. I'm telling the truth, but it might feel like talking trash to some people, and I don't want to hurt any sensitivities that are coming up. So it's okay. If you can't listen to me, that's fine, and I'll fight for you anyway. But with the square over to the sun, so we can see how Mars being 24 degrees, every single degree it moves forward, but every day the sun moves forward, right? 1 degree a day. So this square over here is going to be lasting for a little while. And then the opposition to Pluto, Mars opposing Pluto, this is fighting energy here. This is major fighting energy. This is family versus corporation. This is family and sensitivities and protection and waking up to our emotional body in a way that says, hold on, kind of thing, right? And then also all the movement, Mars movement towards securing ourselves in the face of corruption with Pluto and Capricorn on the dark side. But if you know what's right and you trust your morals, you trust your bones, your integrity, your guts, your heart, right? You trust all of that, and this turns into a breakthrough. This opposition is no longer a confrontation. This is basically, no matter what happens, no matter what happens in this election, you vote for your morals. You vote for your integrity. And it doesn't matter what, well, now it does matter what party, but whatever party you were affiliated with doesn't matter right now, because it's really about your country and whether or not you will have one after this vote is over. So Mars trining Neptune over here is also some fast-moving energy, and Mars is moving into an exact trine. Right now it's just 3 degrees away, almost 3 degrees exactly, and moving towards that fast-moving energy from source, from spirit, which is very compassionate with Neptune and Pisces. But also, this could be movie material, more movies that come out, or documentaries that come out about being victimized, and also, everything to do with, because we're dealing with a water planet, planet, but not planet Earth, but I am speaking about planet Earth and climate change. There's that, and there's the energy to secure ourselves in the face of that. That this is one thing this aspect is about. And then, with the sun scoring Pluto over here to this, this corner of the Grand Cross, we're dealing, and this would be looking at it from the T-square here, from the sun to Pluto to Mars. The sun is shining a spotlight on what's fair and how do we balance things out so that we can not only survive, but also continue to build on what we've, will our country survive? We had our first Pluto return in 2022. Will we get another one? We are a young country. And justice, fairness, and equalities over here shining a light on that question. And then Mars in Cancer is nothing to sneeze at when it comes to, patriotic type of survival, new energy. I'm pretty sure we have, in fact, I know, well, our July 4th, 1776 chart is, July 4th is when, it's in the sign of Cancer. So our chart, our independence chart, our Sibley chart has Cancer Sun. And I know we had other planets conjunct, but I think it's Jupiter. I think we had Sun conjunct Jupiter, if I remember correctly. But anyway, so this week there is so much patriotic energy here, self-securing energy here, and the justice, fairness, equality coming from. We've got the trine from our South Node in Libra over to Pluto, still going on, and there's another aspect of the architect here coming from Saturn to Pluto. No, I'm sorry. Saturn to Ceres. And then, oh no, that's not an aspect of the architect. I'm getting these confused. So sorry. Okay, so this sextile here to Ceres, that's only 2 degrees away. Let's just break down this one first. So Ceres is the dwarf planet. It moves a lot faster than the other planets, but it's primarily about protection for our family, humanity. Ceres is there to, with her loyalty to protect humanity. And then here we have the sextile over to Mercury and Scorpio. So there's some communication going on there that's deep and transformative. And then Saturn's over here, saying, okay, there's a test. Are you going to pass this test? The test is, do you care about other human beings, and do you care about nurturing all things, and especially things that are connected to food and farming and women and all the transitions that women go through during our life cycles with our reproductive systems. And so there are so many opportunities here for people to wake up and vote in their best interests rather than be deluded by some cult leader. There's so much energy here for getting away from the cult leader. And it's coming out in the news. Kamala Harris is telling the truth. A lot of other people are telling the truth all over the place. Nobody's hiding anymore. If you're not seeing it and you say, what is it, mainstream media isn't talking about it. Yes, it is. You're just not watching the right channels. Now, I understand that MSNBC is an extra little bit every month. So if you don't want that, or you can't afford that, or you don't want to spend that, that's okay. It's on YouTube. You just won't get it as fast, but it's on YouTube. There's no way that the information is not out there, which is what brings me to the moon conjunct Jupiter. Now, this is set for 5 a.m. The moon was exactly conjunct, with the moon over here on this side, actually at 12:25 a.m. Pacific time. Everything's Pacific time here, so adjust to your time zone accordingly. So the moon brings through the mood. In Gemini, it's about learning, but it's in the later decan. It's in the 3rd decan. It's in the later degree. So there's something coming out big, something bigger. It's like if you have a rose, it's not at the unfurling stage, it's totally blooming. So the degrees between 20 and 29 are opening all the way. So the mood for information will be opening all the way and in a big way. And with Jupiter, planet of expansion is also a planet of healing, planet of truth. Okay? But not truth social. No. So the truth about disinformation will be coming out even more with the moon conjunct Jupiter. So, of course I upload these readings on Thursday. So just watch over the weekend. Watch Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and see what is happening, because that's the buildup to this moon conjunct Jupiter. Okay, or you can go back and watch last week's video. I do have the timestamps in. So you can catch the last few days and then just go right into this one. So, okay. There's an inconjunct here. Actually, you know what? Let's do it this way from now on. Now let's go to the tight orb, and you can see the inconjunct, and then we can focus in on the sesosquares, which are really important. I've taken care of all of the others, I think. I don't think I've missed anything there. Oh, and Venus and Sag is really important as well, because Venus rules women, it rules unity, it rules harmony. It's the planet that connects to what we value and how we make those comparison values. And in the sign of Sag, it's all about politics. It's all about freedom. It's all about our belief system and speaking up and exploring what is important, like what brings meaning into your life. What do you really believe in? So this is good for women. And this is good for people who believe in women. I mean, to even have to, for me to even have to have this conversation is just so, damn. I'm 70 and I remember going through the 70s. This is ridiculous. This is so ridiculous that we are even having to talk about things like this. And it's so ridiculous that we have Scrotus with these, at least 5 of these reincarnated slave masters over having any power over us in any way, shape, or form. Talk about clean up on aisle 45. That's going to... Something really has to be done. And I'm really holding space in my consciousness and heart for a Presidential Powers Act to get pushed through for so many things. A president doesn't need to have that much power. The president doesn't need to pardon anyone. We have a justice system for that. But we have so many dirty judges is the problem. And they need to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law and spend how about the rest of their lives? If you're a bought and paid for judge, you are the poorest of consciousness on the planet. So that brings in the inconjunct right here, the quincunx inconjunct, this 150-degree aspect that has us feeling off kilter. The sun at 28 and a half degrees of Libra is in that really bright, shining light of fairness, equality, and justice. And we know that SCOTUS is not just. There's only 3 on the bench that are clean. I'm kind of okay a little bit lately, not completely, but just a little bit with Amy Coney Barrett. But those other 5 guys they need to go, every single one of them. They need to be taken out from their positions somehow. Not with any harm. I don't wish any harm on anybody, but they need to be in a different form of service or not serving at all, and they can just sit home and drool for all I care. So adjustments here to mass consciousness that has been victimizing. So this would be the dark side. Neptune and Pisces can be the dark side of victimization, where people will use their imagination, or let's speak to the SCOTUSes now, those 5. Let's speak to especially Alito and Thomas, but Roberts, he's the Chief Justice, and then what's Gorsuch doing, and Brett Kavanaugh, like, who paid your bills, dude? All of that. And those 4,500 complaints that were never that were lodged but never addressed, that came into the Trump administration. Bill Barr's in here too, right? Victimizing the masses. And the spotlight is on them. And so the adjustment that will be made will be to vote. And that's what I started to say earlier. Even if we don't win, What matters is that you exercise your free will, your right to vote, and because to not that's on your soul. Or to vote for Trump, that's on your soul. That's the only thing I could say to anybody who's undecided or is thinking, well, crap, I can't vote for Trump now, I just won't vote. No, vote for Kamala. That's the only way to ensure that our country is safe so that we can have our second Pluto return 250 years from now. So think more about yourself and your children and your grandchildren and think about their kids and their grandchildren and on and on and on and on, right? Think about everybody. Think about everybody. And that explains the other sesquisquadrate coming from Mercury. We need to think more deeply about the transformation of the masses. This is disruptive energy here. This is detours that need to be made. And from the Sun to Saturn, and Saturn being in Pisces midway through, is we're at that FERC around and find out phase. Right? Second phase, 10 to 19 degrees, is learning lessons. So here we are learning lessons about, am I going to be victimized or, right? And also, my heart goes out to anybody who has gone through the hurricanes and are still in of course, all of this explains, both of these sesquisquares give voice to the cleanup from hurricanes, Helene and Milton. And there's another one brewing in the Atlantic. So, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, detours. The sesquisquares have to do with unexpected detours and disruptions to plans that were in place. I love that the Mercury in Scorpio is here holding space for communication with others in new, deeper ways. Transitions, thinking about transitioning away from crisis, thinking about maybe I don't rebuild in Florida or some areas that are in, maybe I need to research about flood zones before figuring out where to, move to. And then my heart is just broken for those that don't have the ability to move, don't have the finances, the money, the ability to move. See, this is another reason we need somebody like Kamala and her administration, her team, because they will be thinking about ways to support those people to get them to higher ground in the future. It's like we need a Democratic administration for the next 8 years, and then another 8 years. We need to just keep going that way, because the Republicans, unless there's some complete transformation with their party, they're not going to do anything for anyone. They all voted, or I think there's 150 of them, 120 or 150, I forget, that voted against funding FEMA. And, we know there were 147 Republicans who were organized by Mike Johnson, by the way, House Speaker, who voted to overturn the 2020 election. So where we are is, and what we're fighting for is, he's directly responsible. And so is Bill Barr, so is Donald Trump, so is the Trump administration. And then the atrocities that happened to children being separated, we can hang that on Stephen Miller, little Mr. Goebbels. We can put that on his head. So for us, all of these aspects look to me like it's really about this holding pattern of digging our heels in, thinking in ways that we can transition through this. But it's also about much more than us. It's about people that can't fend for themselves and need our compassionate care and support. Okay? That's the way I'm seeing the overview for this entire week. So then let's go to Tuesday. 7:15 a.m. I have this chart set for because the sun, that's the time when we have an exact square to Pluto. The sun is at 29 degrees. Pluto's at 29 degrees. Libra to Capricorn, remember again, cardinal energy. So this is relationship oriented, justice oriented, fairness, equality, relating in ways that can create new opportunities, but it butts up against, there's a challenge to the status quo over here that wants to just be mean and cruel and narcissistic, and this is just like the question of like, would you want to have a meal? Would you want to share a meal or even a conversation or anything with Trump or any of his ilk? A Libra person would go, ugh, like there's no way. Somebody just like him would do it, and other people would do it in ways just for a transactional type of a relationship. But I don't know if they'd really want to just be in his personal space, like to hang out with him. I hear it's really gross. And, with Mars here, and see how Mars has moved to 1 degree already. The sun has moved 2 degrees, I think, since we started. So we're tracking here. There's still that square here, even though you can't really get, I haven't set for the tide orb, but Mars is still squaring the sun, so we still have this T-square going on. But today, 7:15 in the morning, the sun is shining a spotlight on something that has to do with relating, something that has to do with fairness. Something, and squares bring through the need for a decision, and Libra is all about the need for making decisions. It's the sign that has a hard time balancing out. It's the sign that came in to learn how to stay centered and find balance in your life, which is hard for all of us. We could all relate to that, right? So, but Libra can also connect with everyone else. And again, that connection to Mars and Cancer is that focus on the family, and then do we survive, or who's over here? Who's over here with the power messing with us? And is it fair? Probably not. Because when the sun's at 29 degrees of any sign, it brings out the most intense experiences, or at least shines a light on the most intense experiences of the sign. And again, with Libra, not being treated equally or bumping up against injustice is going to be very challenging. So I think we're going to see something on Tuesday. I mean, we keep having, how many October surprises have we had already? I mean, there was a Stormy Daniels, there's a recording that Stormy Daniels even videotaped with her attorney while he was reading the paperwork that came through. And it explains, so I guess bottom line is Trump sued her for defamation years ago. She would not sign an NDA, and they were trying again just as of yesterday, just as of October 16th, they were trying again to get her to sign. They would pay they were negotiating with the 600 and whatever thousand, and they finally came down to like 627,000 or something. But she would not agree to sign an NDA. But they were trying to give her more if she would sign an NDA. You can have 650,000 if you'll also sign this NDA, and she wouldn't do it. So there's all that. That it's just dirty. Unbelievable. So I think something more will come out on Tuesday. With Venus in this exact aspect of the architect here to the nodes. Now the nodes, the south node's always about the past relationships, past injustices, and then the future being the north node in Aries ruled by Mars is moving forward with the right to be independent and no longer abandon ourselves for any relationship. And with this aspect of the architect here, with Venus and Sag, I would think for a lot of women, there's a whole new impetus to go forward, trusting yourself with your intuition and wanting to be more free. We have the urge for freedom here, freedom and independence here. And then we have the urge for freedom and independence over here, but also with a whole lot of other women that support you. And to break away from past relationships of, where things weren't fair or equal or didn't feel right or where you weren't treated fairly. So there's that on the personal and the political level. And Mercury has an exact trine as well, so there's a lot of fast-moving energy coming through the news. Again, this is the same flavor of the Stormy Daniels, Trump, Scorpio thing going on, right? And her not taking the bait because she's smart. She might have made a mistake, but she's a smart woman. And yeah, okay, so I don't think I need to speak anymore about that. That square is taken care of. This square, it's still there. That's the one we addressed for Monday. Jupiter sextile Chiron and moving, it's retrograde, so it's going back to a tighter orb. So Jupiter sextile Chiron is important, but I did speak about it already. This is the aspect that has to do with, it could possibly be healing the mind because you've learned something new, and maybe it's healing through friendship and opportunities to be more independent are there, independent within the framework of friendship and relationship. Communication, healing communications. So let's go ahead and go to, I have another one for Tuesday where the sun is now in Scorpio, headed towards Mercury. Mercury never moved. Everything revolves around the sun, so Mercury never goes too far from the sun. But the Mercury has made it to Scorpio faster. It happens every year. Things line up this way with the Sun and Mercury. And the personal planets too. But so it's nowhere near a conjunction, even 8-degree orb yet. But now the flavor is shifting from. It's still relationship oriented, but it's taking the realm of relationship and justice and fairness and equality into the realm of intensity and crisis and hopefully transformation. It brings us into a realm that's more intimate, and that's where the trust issues come in. Do you just share your secrets with just anyone? No. I mean, some people do, and then they regret it later, but you live and learn, right? And you learn who you can trust and in what way you can trust them as well. Scorpio's very psychic, so for this whole month, or for until around 22nd, 23rd, somewhere in there. It changes every year. That's why I never bothered to memorize them. It can be anywhere between the 19th and the 22nd. that of the month that the signs will change. But yeah, so Scorpio will just bring in that different. I mean, from Tuesday afternoon at 3:15 p.m., October 22nd. Things will shift. It will feel different. And, Scorpio is also really good for refinement, bringing refinement into your life. So you might, if you've had some projects going on, you may very well find yourself wanting to finish them, and but putting on the finishing touches that makes it just perfect for you, or good enough, right? And it's a season of the year where we don't mind having a little bit of crisis. Maybe that's one of the reasons Halloween is, in there this time of the year. It's like some people, they like the scary stuff, and some people like horror movies, and some people like the being on the edge of your seat. Some people like the intensity. I don't. But, that's just me. I'm the weirdo. I have Saturn in Scorpio. I guess that's how I could explain it. But I have a Scorpio granddaughter that used to love scary stuff and still does. And she cracks up. I mean, if we've ever watched anything scary together, we both just laugh the whole time. Because you can see it coming, And that's another thing about Scorpio energy is like you can see things coming, usually. And you can be thinking ahead. So we don't mind, with Scorpio energy, we don't mind working harder to get ourselves out of crisis situations or to protect against crisis situations. But we also don't mind digging our heels in and holding firm. So this is really good for leading up to the election. And you can see that the other aspects are the same, except for the moon has moved forward. And we're now out of Gemini, much more further into, we're midway through the sign of Cancer. And in fact, there's an exact trine to Saturn. So with that in mind, things become, well, it's interesting. On one level, Cancer energy can be very playful, and Pisces energy can be very inclusive. So it really softens the Saturn that can be kind of limiting and kind of controlling and delaying and maybe denying things. But Saturn also is mastery. This could be like some serious creative project or some serious fun. The quest for some serious fun. The duty to try and find fun today. That's how I'm looking at that, or at least this afternoon. I would say plan ahead for having some fun this afternoon. You should plan to have fun every day of your life. Otherwise, it needs to be part of your laughter and fun and playfulness and cracking yourself up and other people cracking you up. That needs to be a part of your everyday experience. Otherwise, you're missing out. And that's the dark side of Saturn. The dark side of Saturn is fearful and limited and uninspired and rigid and pessimistic and inhibits themselves in a way that it can bring in this crippling negativity that just holds you in a tight place and doesn't open. We want to be open. We want to be broken open. In a good way, with your love. Let your heart break you open. Let your emotional pain break you open. And then you will be free. So, okay, I think that's it there. We still have that same sextile there. Oh, Mars sextile Uranus is coming in. Let's go ahead and go to Wednesday, because it'll still be there. Okay, so 25 degrees, 32 minutes here with Mars, 26 degrees Taurus here. The moon is, I'm glad I went forward. So no matter how early you get up, the moon's still in Cancer, but it's cooking its way towards Mars. And the mood becomes much, much more protective, much, much more sensitive and warm and nurturing. Or on the dark side, controlling and stuck in the past. If we're not clear, well, never judge whatever's coming up in your emotional body. First of all, let yourself feel. If you're willing to feel whatever needs to be healed, you will process it through eventually. And in the process, as long as we're not projecting it onto other people and hurting them with it, then we're doing just fine. And as you process it through, then your emotional body will be clear, and then you'll be more psychic and sensitive. Your sensitivities will be more, well, in Cancer, it's usually empathic. It's the feelings that you get in your body. And that's especially true while we're having Uranus go through Taurus. That's been the opportunity there. And so hence, this sextile between Mars and Uranus could bring through more empathic abilities. And so don't be afraid of it. Just allow yourself to feel it and just ask your body, you're going to have some dialogue with your body, and you're going to have to ask your body to tell you, like, what does that mean when I have a pain in my back in one spot? Feels like, stab in the back kind of a thing. And somebody just told you a lie. Well, okay, your body's telling you, And if the pain goes right away after you figure out what it is, then okay, that's empathic guidance. That's how it works. I have a lot of other things I could share, but I won't do it here because it's kind of private. But anybody that books a session with me to help open up to their empathic abilities, I will share everything I've learned. Okay, so that is important, and this is lasting for a little while. And then to have the moon coming forward. Now the moon moves a half a degree every hour, so 1 degree every 2 hours. So we have this 5 a.m., but it's gonna last most of the day. And again, this is strong because the approaching energy, the waxing energy is strong. And Mars is strong. Cancer energy doesn't always feel strong, but then after you get through it, you realize, oh, dang, I was stronger than I thought. I got it. I went through it, and I didn't die. I felt it all, and I didn't die. So yeah. So that's an important thing this morning. This is lasting a good part of the day. Let me see how many hours it takes without having to use my pea brain. Okay, we're going to be exact. We're going to be exact at 2 p.m., and then the waning energy begins after 2 p.m. But let's see how long it takes. Even there is still, that's midnight. So see, all day, just like I thought. Let's go to Thursday. Thursday, we have, and I have this one set for 4 a.m., but no matter how early you get up, most likely the moon will be in Leo. And after going through all that intense energy with the moon connected to Mars, now with the moon in Leo, the mood shifts to very expressive, much bigger opportunities possibly coming through, and especially in the realm of creating whatever it is that you're wanting to create. And the even though it's not exact here, this is still moon opposition Pluto, right? So that, like I was speaking about that buildup on Monday, it's lasting all week through to Thursday here. It will back off today later on, but all through, so Monday through Thursday, it is this buildup, and then this fever pitch of energy into issues around power and who's got the power and who's trying to take it away from you, and can you hold firm in your power no matter what, right? Remember, it's like it's like Stairway to Heaven, the last line, to be a rock and not to roll. We don't roll over for anybody with our principles. You stand firm on your principles. And then from there, that defines all of those moments and all of those actions and all of that energy and all of that consciousness, though it defines your life and who you are and what you will attract in the future. That's the way it works. Those are spiritual laws that I can promise that work for you. So with the moon in Leo, we are going to be much, much more courageous. Now, maybe not, so the moon gets through one sign in about 2 days, 2.5 days. But so we can plan on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Things are going to heat up, okay? It's Leo's a fire sign. Leo is a fixed sign. It's contraction, right? So it's odd to think of a fire sign as being fixed, but it's fixed in the sense of, because fire burns and moves and moves energy, right? And after picking up all that steam connecting to Mars, which is a fire planet, fiery planet, movement-oriented planet. So, but the only way you can get it into, or at least the only way I could get it into my mind with the fixed energy of a fire sign is to think of in terms of the reason for Leo, which is to express yourself. It's your creative self-expression. So if you can stay, here's the fixed part, if you can stay with yourself in a way that's not completely, like with an unhealthy narcissistic ego, but stay within yourself while you connect with others, while you keep your heart open. Can you stay with your heart can you stay with yourself while your heart is completely open, and the more open it becomes, you feel more vulnerable, but then can you stay with that? And then breathe a little deeper and stay with that, whatever the experience is. And if you feel like you're losing yourself, maybe you could just say, oh, okay, I don't know where I am right now. And then try to find yourself again. Come back to center, find yourself again, right? So that's the challenge with Leo. So over the next couple of days, while the sign is going through, or while the moon is going through the first 10 degrees, it's 10 degrees, 0 to 9 degrees, we are developing a new foundation. And a new foundation in Leo is all about our creative self-expression. And how we express ourselves and how we love and what we give our attention to. Who gets our attention, or what we put our attention on. And when it gets in, I'll talk about it when we get to the next day. Let's go ahead and do that and move forward because all the other, Mercury sextile Eris, that's important, but it'll still be there Friday. I'll talk about that right now. Mercury, and the sextile that's here, even though you can't see it, is an opportunity to maybe get some good recycling done around the house, or think of all the things that you want to work more deeply on. Scorpio's good at fixing and repairing things. Oops, I didn't do that the right way. Hold on. Friday here. Did I just not save the chart? Is that what I did? Yeah, I guess so. Okay. That doesn't matter. At least it stayed there in the lineup, huh? So, okay. Ceres is all about, in Capricorn anyway, is all about our duty and our self-responsibility to the things that we really want to nurture and that we're loyal to, right? We're talking our family, our businesses, our fur babies or any other pets of any type. And with the sextile over to Mercury, this could be some new ways, some new opportunities to maybe transform something, to go through some transition and go deep, maybe even to heal, like the fear of betrayal is a good opportunity with this lineup here. Yeah. Okay, so the important thing when we get to for Friday or for this chart is that the moon is in Leo. Still, but it's made it all the way to 15 degrees. So now we're in the second stage. So the first day was all about developing foundations of creative self-expression. Now we're going to be learning some lessons through this stage here. So this day is all about that. So we're going to figure out what works and what doesn't. Most likely, though, when the moon's in Leo in the second decan, we're going to be figuring out whether or not we really, really did want something we thought we wanted. So if you're thinking, and I hope you listen to this whole week before, the days come so you can be prepared. That's the reason I do them like this. But and hopefully you'll hear this before, because if you're thinking of buying something that you think really matters to you or that you really, really want, don't buy it yet. Think about just, like let it sit in the cart or send yourself a link to it and think about it for a few days. Because by the time you get around to Friday and Saturday, you might decide, you know what, it's not worth it. It's too much money. Or I don't, you maybe really want it, but you just don't need it. And then you're thinking, well, shoot, would I really use it that much? Those are all these things we have to think of. Or would it last? Or how's the quality? All of these questions, right? So the other thing on Friday morning, we have the sesquisquare coming from Venus to Eris. So here we go again, and Venus has now made it to that, it's out of that first stage of developing a foundation. In Sag, the foundation would be about what do we believe in? Does this lead to our freedom? Do I dare speak up? I have another really great story. I'm not going to ever give away names, but somebody else commented on one of my videos today that she's out, helping the Harris campaign, and I can't remember where she said they were, what state they're in, but anyway, they kept noticing women going in the bathrooms together, and they kept noticing these little Post-it notes stuck inside the bathroom stalls, telling women that your vote is private and secret. Your husband can't see it. I love that. This is perfect for this right here. Helping women was okay. So the independence of women is over here with Eris, and healing that deep rift, right? That deep Chiron wound of not feeling independent, or the fear of being abandoned. But if we don't abandon ourselves, that's the key, right? Because everything's always from the inside out. And then Sag over here, the truth about politics coming from other women. And then that creates a change in plan, maybe, Because the sesquisquadrates are always, or sesquisquares, same thing, they're always about, it's a 135-degree aspect that has to do with a detour or a disruption to plan. So this could be a nice detour when it comes to the vote. So yeah, the other aspects are still there. Everything that I spoke to for Monday. So now let's go to Saturday, and now we have the moon shift into Virgo, but it doesn't happen until 8:48 a.m. Okay, so Friday I feel like it's a big day. Saturday seems like a quieter day. Now the mood, because remember the moon is always the mood, but the moon is also, it's connected so much to our body and our psyche and our soul. And excuse me, it'll reflect our, our current reality because we will respond accordingly to the mood. And in Virgo, it's going to shift to being much more discriminating. And we've been learning, and we've been, learning when the moon was in Gemini earlier this week, and then becoming much more sensitive and protective when the moon was in Cancer, and then being much more courageous while it was in Leo. And now we know some things. We're gathering facts. We've been gathering facts. We've been learning and gathering facts when the moon was back here in a big way with Jupiter and Gemini. And now we know what to do, or we're discriminating those facts. Where it's like, cutting the wheat from the chaff, right? And it becomes much more practical, and we have new opportunities because we're talking facts. Information that's full of facts. Now, with the inconjunct to Pluto, this would be an adjustment to the structures of power because information is coming through. Remember, Mercury is the ruler of Virgo and Gemini. I lost it. I'm looking at, you guys have to imagine what it's like. You're probably just listening, but I'm looking at all of this stuff every second. So anyway, Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. Gemini learns, Virgo, like I said, gathers, or has the facts, puts them together. It's kind of like maybe Gemini could be related to the gathering of all the pieces of a puzzle, and then Virgo could be related to actually putting the pieces together so that you get something that is real. Because, it's in Virgo, the energy is it's different. It's going back and forth, side to side. It can be very diplomatic, and we're learning as we go. And we're questioning things too. There's that curiosity and questioning. But by the time it gets to Virgo, then it's like, okay, does it fit or not? And if it doesn't fit, it has to go. And if it doesn't work because we're always headed towards wholeness, if it doesn't form a cohesive part of the whole, then it has to be thrown out, right? So the rest of the weekend, it's going to be all about figuring out what works and what doesn't, discerning what works and what doesn't, making those distinctions, and then we'll be in the phase of learning lessons about that, and then later on I think Monday we'll still be in that. We'll still be in that energy. So let's see. Mercury, the adjustment there. More's coming out. There's going to be more and more that comes out in the news. This is important here. Let's go to Sunday, because I remember Sunday has a yod. Okay, finger of fate to Mercury. Mercury's at the point. 20 degrees of Scorpio. We're at the blooming phase. What's blooming? Information about maybe a sex scandal. The yod is a finger of fate. Jupiter and Gemini is all about the news. Gemini has to do with the news. Remember, Mercury rules Gemini, okay? The moon's over here holding space for the facts, and especially with a connection to women and the feminine and the detours. This all, again, I mean, when you're looking at a natal chart and you're looking for like a signature, You go with the rule of three. It needs to be repeated. Whatever the signature you think the signature might be, or you sense the signature might be, has to be repeated at least 3 times before you could say, okay, for sure, this, whatever. The focus of the higher self intention of that incarnation, right? But for this day, this is all about, this whole week, I should say. This week is all about all these opportunities for people to wake up and make a different choice when it comes to voting, is what I'm getting here. Because Mercury is all about the vote. Gemini is about the information for the vote. Jupiter expands all that information. Mercury refines it in Scorpio and puts it back over here, connects back over here to make these adjustments. Mercury's at the point where it's making all the adjustments that are coming from healing Jupiter and kick butt Eris over here. And then the opportunity, look at that exact sextile over to Chiron. Chiron's involved. So Chiron in Aries, the deepest wounding is about abandoning yourself and feeling like you can't be independent and afraid to assert yourself, afraid to trust your instincts, and the fear of losing your absolute existence, the fear of not being allowed to exist is what's up when Chiron is in Aries. So the way you work through that and turn that around is to feel that fear and move forward anyway, and trust your instincts and blaze your own trail. Assert your unique individuality. You're here, and you matter. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. If you're in a body, you're here, you deserve everything that everyone else deserves. So don't go into reaction about not coming first or being first. Don't worry about being left out. Just do not leave yourself out. Belong to yourself. Don't abandon yourself. And then that will release those issues around, those issues that make you be impulsive. If you have Chiron in Aries or a lot of planets in Aries, I'm speaking to you. The impulsiveness comes from not having your deep connection with yourself. It comes from orienting your consciousness outward. Just come back inside. Come back inside. Take a deep breath and relax and let go. And go to the place where you're okay, no matter what. You're just fine. And respond from there. And that's where the healing comes in. But meanwhile, I think on the political level, this is all about a news cycle that is, and this comes through at 5 a.m. So first thing on Sunday morning, it's definitely there to help us go deeper. I think it's just going to be a really big news week. I think there can be more. I don't know how many October surprises we've already had, but I think we could have a few more. I wouldn't be surprised at all. It's going to turn out that October surprises aren't so surprising. Okay, the moon this morning with the sesquisquare over to Eris, there you go again. It's the facts that have been gathered that have a repeated lesson that we've already been through, and we know that we need to be independent, so we will make those detours accordingly. And then look at the 2 sesquisquares down to Mars, connecting to Venus and Saturn. Venus and Saturn can have to do with the way we earn money and how safe and secure we feel with our money, and pointing down to Mars in Cancer. Mars wants something. In Cancer, it wants to feel safe and secure so that we can continue to grow, right? Remember, without stability, safety, security, you can't develop a foundation. Saturn's the foundation. There's all this, there are detours away from victimization with women on the political level. Okay. There's also a semi-square here from the South Node in Mercury. So yeah, we've been there before. We've been through this before. We're pissed off that we even have to, even like I said before, like why are we even having these conversations? Why do I have to even talk about this? I mean, we've been shoved back in time 50 years, and nobody likes that. Nobody likes having things taken away that you've already had. And nobody likes feeling like a piece of meat. Nobody likes being an object to be used. Nobody likes that. So, again, I'll just say, vote accordingly. Okay, Mars trine Uranus is exact this morning. And we'll probably just continue with that trine. Yeah, we'll have it the whole day. Let's see, that's 10 a.m. Might as well get us through. Let's get through, oops, that's Monday. It's even there Monday. And Monday, next week, the moon's still in Virgo as well. And it'll be in that last decan for that whole day. So, wow. Hold on to our hats, right? Okay. But anyway, back to all day long. The, man, look at all these aspects for next week. That's amazing. But anyway, back to the trine from Mars to Neptune. What I was feeling about this, honestly, is that Sunday, anytime on Sunday, is going to be good for having some fun and maybe movies. Maybe it's a good day for just doing nothing but watch some things that you want to watch and have fun with. Because Pisces and Cancer, Cancer can be a lot about having fun and playfulness, and especially with family, if you have family around. But regardless, if you do, you guys might be all fighting over who's going to watch what or whatever. And kids begging for certain things for Christmas because they, I want my own damn TV or whatever, or I need an iPad, or I need a tablet, I need headphones, something like that. Anyway, when I see, as I have been seeing for years, Neptune in Pisces, but now at this later degree, I'm really seeing this as a lot of movies, a lot of creative material that's out there that you can just stream, of course, thanks to Uranus and Taurus. So yeah, now on the spiritual level, well, you can watch spiritual things. I feel like if you're breathing, you're spiritual. So I don't really... But if you want to get more spiritual with this would be the movement towards feeling all your feelings, being very, very sensitive and open, and trusting Source, trusting your guides, your guardian angels. So back to the actual 5 a.m. chart, this could be waking up on Sunday morning with some dreamtime guidance. That's really important. That can help you with the spiritual foundations of your life. I mean, because Saturn in Pisces is helping us with that as well. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it. I don't really have anything else to add. I'm just going to go ahead and get this uploaded. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll do my best. Okay, bye.